Hey guys, Dow with Peanuts and Cracker Jacks. It's April 1st. It's MLB Opening Day. If there's any day out there that should be a national holiday and it's not, it's today. I'm really excited just to watch baseball on a regular basis again. We've been watching college baseball for about a month and a half now, but now we get even more, and that's even better, isn't it? I talked about doing some team previews earlier in the year in another episode or two. I don't think that's the way we're going to go, considering how lax we have been at recording episodes on a regular basis. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk a little bit about my Major League Baseball Power Index, give you my top 10 teams from top to bottom, and let you know who's going to be contenders this year, where I see things falling as far as the race to the 2021 World Series. So let's just jump right into it. Starting with number 10. This is my list. If you have a list or if you have seen a list somewhere else, it's probably incorrect. This is the right one. But number 10 on the Peanuts and Cracker Jacks power rankings of MLB teams, we're going to go with the Tampa Bay Rays. That may come as a bit of a surprise to some people to have them in the top 10, considering that they got rid of Blake Snell in the offseason. They didn't really pick up, another pitcher. They got rid of Charlie Morton, or rather chose not to re-sign Charlie Morton. Got the same offense coming back, but you know what? It's the same offense that got them to the World Series in 2020, even though it was in the midst of a global pandemic. It's still an offense that can produce a lot of runs, and the Tampa Bay way of doing things has proven that it works. The number one thing that the Rays have got going for them this year is the big left-hander out on the mound, Tyler Glasnow. Glasnow is an absolute phenom who is just about ready to hit his sweet spot as far as prime production on the mound. He tops out at about 102 on the radar gun with one of the nastiest hooks in the game. If he develops a third pitch, he could be absolutely unhittable. If there's such a thing as a baseball man crush, Tyler Glasnow has got to be up there for me, as well as a lot of Major League Baseball fans. The big question is going to be figuring out what the Rays have got going behind him. In the offense, they've got the same guys as last year coming back. As I said, you're not going to see much of a change. I'm expecting a big year from Austin Meadows. Brandon Lau is another guy that could hit 300 with 25 to 30 bombs. Kevin Kiermaier is just your everyday, do-everything center fielder. He's one of the best defensively in the game. Joey Wendell. We could see Wander Franco up sometime this year. The guy's been the top prospect in the minors the last 2 years. Wouldn't be a shock to see him on the roster as early as next month. But that's number 10, the Tampa Bay Rays out of the American League East. If I had to rank them, I'd probably say that they're going to finish second or third in the East, so that may give you a clue as to somebody else coming up here on the power rankings. But not at number 9, because at number 9, I've got the Houston Astros coming out of the American League West. Quite possibly the weakest division in all of baseball. The Houston Astros, the biggest concerns that they have, number one, it's highly unlikely that Justin Verlander pitches at all this year. I believe this is the last year that he's under contract in Houston. So if he's looking for a bigger contract down the road, I don't think he's going to push his return from injury. I think a better outlook for him is to just say, hey, I'm Justin Verlander, I'm healthy for 2022 as far as new money on that deal. But what they do have coming back in the rotation Number one, a guy that I really have not liked over the years, but he has produced, is Zach Greinke. He'll be the number one. McCullers just signed a new deal about a week ago. Framber Valdez, who I really like, not like or unlike Greinke. Framber Valdez is going to start the year on the DL, but he should be ready at least by the 1st of June. That gives him three reliable guys at the top of the order with an offense that is going to feature Alex Bregman and Altuve, guys who had down years in 2020, but I expect to bounce back, especially Alex Bregman. I don't think by any means his success over the past 4 years had much at all to do with somebody banging on a trash can. You've got Yordan Alvarez. Is he going to be the guy that we saw in 2019 that looked like an absolute monster at either the DH or first base positions? Yuli Gurriel. You've got Michael Bradley back. You did lose George Springer. That's a big loss. But again, in the American League West, I think the Astros have still got enough to win that division. So that's why they're number 9 on my list. Number 8. And this was a big surprise to me, and I've actually lost my notes here just a little bit. Excuse me. I did change this, so it's not going to be that big of a surprise. The Minnesota Twins in the American League Central. This is going to be a really competitive division. Kenta Maeda, the ace for the Minnesota Twins. If you don't know him, check him out. He's my pick for the 2021 AL Cy Young Award winner. Offensively, there's not a ton of household names on this team, but they do hit a lot of bombs. Mitch Garver is there. Miguel Sano is there. Hopefully we'll get to see Brent Rooker in left field at some point for us Mississippi State fans. I think Rooker has got a chance to be a 20 to 30 home run guy even as a rookie. He started off with a bang last season before getting hit by a pitch on his forearm, breaking his arm, and having to miss the rest of the season. I really like the Twins in the Central. I don't think they're going to have quite enough to win. Behind Maeda, they've got Jose Barrios, who's a really good number 2. Beyond that, it gets a little sketchy as far as the starting pitching. The relief corps should be better than the starting pitching, though. So I really like the Minnesota Twins. I believe that's number 8 if I'm counting right. The Toronto Blue Jays, another American League East team. The Toronto Blue Jays could have the most potent offense in all of baseball this year with Flo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero, Kevin Biggio, Teoscar Hernandez, George Springer, who will start the season on the DL, but I don't think he's going to miss but about 2 weeks maybe. Rowdy Tellez, Marcus Simeon, who they signed from the A's in the offseason, just on a 1-year deal, but he's supposed to play second base. If he plays anywhere close to his 2019 stats, that's going to be another boost in what was already an incredible lineup. Lourdes Gurriel, Randall Grichuk. There's bats galore in this offense. The problem is going to be being able to outscore their opponents on a daily basis, because when they get past Hyun-Jin Ryu, their ace, the starting pitching is really sketchy, and the bullpen's not much better. They've got a couple of guys that are starting the season out on the DL. Top pitching prospect Nate Pearson, as well as who's the guy? Robbie Ray. I believe they signed from Arizona, who's basically a nobody, but in Toronto this year he's a number 2 once he gets back healthy. So the Toronto Blue Jays are my next team up there. Coming in next, team you may have heard of from New York. The Bronx Bombers, the Yankees. I've probably got them a little bit lower than some people in the national media, just because I don't trust their starting pitching behind Garrett Cole. I think Garrett Cole is an absolute world beater. I don't think there are many people that throw 98 as effortlessly as he does. When you mix in his secondary pitches, just go ahead and give me him as the best pitcher in Major League Baseball right now. If somebody's worth $350 million, maybe it's him. I absolutely love Garrett Cole. When he was with Pittsburgh in the early days, you could tell, even though he wasn't winning, that he was a guy that had a really special arm. He really found himself in Houston and turned into one of, if not the best pitchers in Major League Baseball there. Last year, New York was his first season. It was good, but not great. But this year I expect him to put up Cy Young worthy stuff. Behind him, it was a no-brainer to re-sign DJ LeMahieu. Luke Voight starts the year on the shelf. He's going to miss about a month, maybe two, with trying to remember, I think it's a meniscus that he had surgery on. But Luke Voigt's another one of those guys that I've got a huge crush on. Led the majors in home runs last year with 22. This kid can absolutely rake. He's going to be the Yankees' first baseman for the next year. And he's a guy like LeMahieu that I really think you can count on. Unlike some of the other guys, I know the talent is there with Aaron Judge. I just want to see him play 3/4 of a season on a regular basis. Giancarlo Stanton, not a fan. I'm just going to go back to calling you Mike, because you stayed healthy when you were Mike. When you signed that big contract and decided that you were Giancarlo, things started breaking down. I don't have any faith in you to be in the lineup past June 1st. I know you can hit balls 120 miles an hour out of the park, but let me see you do it for more than 2 weeks at a time, Mike. I would love to see Gary Sanchez, really find the potential that everybody thought he had a couple of years ago. If you watched that home run derby about 3 years ago, the ball just explodes off his bat. I know it's a home run derby, but I mean, it was pretty impressive to watch. In his first couple of years playing every day, he looked like a guy that was going to be a 40-homer guy for years to come. And for whatever reason, injuries, etc., the last couple of years, it just hasn't happened. Gleyber Torres, I think is fantastic. I'm drawing a blank on the third baseman's name right now. Forgive me. Gio Urshela. Urshela's one of the best defensive third basemen in the league. This guy is sweet on the hot corner with the glove. But that's who I've got next, the Yankees, and they're not going to be happy because right across town in front of them, I've got the New York Mets. I can't believe that I'm saying it, but I actually really like the Mets this year. Still worried about their pitching because it just seems like the Mets have been cursed for the last 10 years when it comes to pitching, with the exception of Jacob Degrom. You put Jacob Degrom right up there with Garrett Cole. Degrom may be better than Cole, certainly from an ERA standpoint. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. Consistently ERA stat over the last 3 or 4 years he has been. DeGrom's problem is that he hasn't got run production for the most part, especially 2-3 years ago when he first burst onto the scene. He was absolutely incredible, and somehow his team was unable to score 2 to 3 runs for him a game. I don't think that's going to be a problem this year. As most of you know, the Mets traded for Francisco Lindor in the offseason. They just signed him to a mega contract yesterday or day before, I believe. 10 years, $340 million or so in change. I love Francisco Lindor. I think he's going to be the cornerstone to that offense for the next 10 years, along with the polar bear over at first base. That's a lot of pop for any lineup, but you throw in the rest of the team. You throw in Dominic Smith. You throw in Michael Conforto. You throw in, I'm drawing a blank again on the second baseman's name, Jeff. What is Jeff's name? Anyway, Jeff's really good. He's a guy that could hit 20 to 30 home runs, so maybe I should learn his name. But I really like the Mets this year. I've never been a Mets fan in my life, not even when they had Doc and Strawberry. But look for them to really play some good baseball this year. Next up, the team that I think is coming out of the American League and going to the World Series this year, the Chicago White Sox. Big loss a week ago. Eloy Jimenez, young star for them, who's really got MVP written all over him. It's probably going to miss the entire season with a torn pectoral muscle. Big blow, but this is a team that is loaded with offense, from Jose Abreu to Tim Anderson, Luis Robert. You've got, did I mention Tim Anderson? Yes, Manny Grandal. You're going to see a rookie named Andrew Vaughn playing DH, or hitting in the DH spot this year, possibly playing some first base for him. He was their first round pick a couple of years ago. He's going to be another bomber. I really like the White Sox offense a lot. Lucas Giolito, their starting, their opening day starter, is an ace. He should put up Cy Young type numbers this year. Trading for Lance Lynn in the offseason was a huge move for them. They've got Lynn that'll either be the 2 or the 3 guy. Dallas Keuchel is back. Carlos Rodon on the back end of the rotation has got really good stuff. In the bullpen, they signed Liam Hendricks, who's been in Oakland the last couple of years. I love Liam Hendricks. He's nasty in the 8th and 9th innings. They've also got another guy named Michael Kopech, who I expect to see in the late innings. It's another fireballer that throws about 102, 103 if his arm can stay on. And look out for a guy named Garrett Crochet, Mississippian, who played college ball at Tennessee and actually made his MLB debut last year and was really good in about 15 to 20 innings that he pitched. Maybe it wasn't that many, but he could factor in the bullpen. He could also end up being a starter eventually, but that's a name to watch there. But I really like the Chicago White Sox out of the American League to win the Central in a tough battle over the Twins, but to also win the American League outright, make it to the World Series. At number 3, the Slam Diego Padres. Most people, I think, have San Diego at 2 or 3 in their power rankings. Let me tell you, full disclosure here, I think that signing Fernando Tatis Jr. to that 13, 14-year-old deal, 13 to 14-year deal for, what was it, $350 million. After he has played, I believe, 142 Major League Baseball games. I believe that's the dumbest move that I've ever seen a Major League Baseball team. Not because he doesn't have the talent, because this kid is phenomenal. I think he may be the best defensive shortstop in baseball, and he's a guy that can hit 35 to 40 bombs. But when you've got that much control over a player's contract, I'm usually going to side with management. I'm not about making friends and making players happy when it's 4 or 5 years sooner than I have to, and I haven't even seen him play a full season. Maybe it works out for him. That'd be great. He's hurt right now. I think he's going to start today, but That's a lot of money to commit to a guy that has not even played a full season of Major League Baseball. I know he's cool. He's probably got a great Instagram presence. He's on the cover of MLB The Show, I think. I don't play that, but seems like I heard that somewhere. And the kids love him. But, it's a big contract. But he's great with Manny Machado. This is the best left side of the infield in Major League Baseball. Those are 2 guys that could both hit 35 to 40 home runs, drive in 100 plus, and are going to be Gold Glove defenders. The rest of the team, there's some pieces there, but I don't like their offense as much as some other people's. Trent Grisham, I think he's got a chance to break out. He's hurt right now. He's going to miss the start of the season. Jake Cronenworth was second in the National League MVP, Rookie of the Year race last year. I think he's got a chance to be really good. Will Myers and Eric Hosmer are guys that could hit 30 home runs. And everybody knows that they vastly improved their pitching in the offseason, picking up Blake Snell from the Rays and Yu Darvish from the Cubs, along with Joe Musgrove from the Pirates. Their starting rotation will be leaps and bounds better in 2021, at least on paper, than it has been the last 2 years. But before we start, giving them too many accolades, let's not forget that this was a team that that finished 20 games below 500 in the last full season of Major League Baseball. Yeah, they've revamped a lot, the pitching staff in particular, and this is traditionally a pitcher's park. But let's be a little cautious, especially considering who's playing up the road in the same division with them. But number 3, the San Diego Padres. I think they're going to be very, very good, and I think that National League West battle is going to be the most fun that we have watching in Major League Baseball this year. But slightly ahead of San Diego in my power rankings this year, team that I like just a little bit better. I'm a little more comfortable with them because they've done it a little longer. It's the Atlanta Braves. Maybe slightly higher than most of the experts have. I don't like Atlanta's offensive depth, but as far as their lineup, their starting 9 at the plate, I do like them better than the Padres overall. Everything starts with Freddy Freeman coming off a well-deserved MVP campaign in 2020. Freeman's the unquestioned leader on this team. This guy, has been a baller since he made his debut in the major leagues. If I remember correctly, this is a contract year for Freddie. Not that he needs any incentive to play hard, but I do believe in the contract year bounce. And if he can hit better than he did in 2020, watch out, NL East. But you got Freeman at first, obviously. You've got Acuna in the outfield. You've got Albies back. Dansby Swanson is in a contract year. Austin Riley over at third base. I don't know if I expect him to make a huge jump. I think maybe what we've seen of him so far is kind of who he is, maybe a 240, 250 hitter that's capable of hitting 30 home runs. But in today's Major League Baseball, that's worth a couple $100 million. You got Pache in center field, who if you read much on him, people are not very high on his offensive skills. I think he's got a really good chance to surprise people, not just be a Gold Glove center fielder, but to be an offensive threat as well. Travis d'Arnaud had an amazing year last year. He's back, and on the mound, Max Fried's going to be their opening day starter. Mike Soroka is really the ace of the team. He's going to be out another month or two, but when he gets back, that's really 2 aces at the top of the rotation. You throw in Charlie Morton that they signed on a 1-year deal from Tampa, who Charlie Morton is an absolute dog. That guy, I would take him, in most any big game, whether it's regular season or postseason. For his age, he really doesn't have a tremendous amount of miles on his arm, so I really liked that signing. Ian Anderson was a big surprise last year. Not that he wasn't already a top prospect, but I don't think people expected him to perform as well as he did in his first taste of MLB action. The bullpen is going to be the question with Atlanta. I think Will Smith is going to close to start the year. Who you've got to go with him, whether it's AJ Minter or Bryce Wilson or, however that shakes out, I think that's going to be the question mark. But a couple of those guys we've seen in the past, especially, in a very small sample size with Minter and Wilson last year in the postseason, both of those guys look like they could be all-stars. So the bullpen may end up being a strength. It hasn't been in recent years, but times change. But I really like the Atlanta Braves out of the NL East. They're my number 2 team. And if not for the number 1 team, I think Atlanta or San Diego would be representing the National League in in the World Series. But as we all know, the Los Angeles Dodgers continue to play Major League Baseball. And from top to bottom, whether it's offensively, defensively, pitching, major leagues, minor leagues, whatever, nobody's doing it better than the Dodgers right now. This team is an absolute juggernaut that I think could win the next two World Series. I was not a big fan of the Trevor Bauer signing from a dollar perspective. I would have loved to seen them go out and get some more bullpen help because their starting rotation was already so strong. You add Bauer to a rotation that features Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler, David Price, if he is healthy, who I believe David Price is actually going to start the year in the bullpen, which I'd speculate on that a little bit if Price could find a second career as a closer, because going into the season, Kenley Jansen is still a closer, and that's a weak spot for the Dodgers. Jansen just doesn't have it anymore, in my opinion. I don't expect him to last the full season. It may be a deal where the first 2 or 3 months he's the guy and does really well and just peters out about the All-Star break. But this is the last year on his deal. I don't expect him back with Los Angeles after that. They've also got Blake Trinan in the pen. Brewster Gratterall is a guy that I think they're probably grooming to be the next closer. Corey Evil Knievel was signed from the Cleveland Indians in the offseason. If he's right, he's an all-star out of the bullpen. I haven't even mentioned Tony Gonsolin, Luis Urias, or Sideshow Bob, Dustin May, 3 guys that can either start or come out of the bullpen. I think the plan is for Urias and May to start the year in the rotation with Gonsolin and Price in the bullpen. Either of those latter 2 guys could spot start to give somebody a rest. And that's one of the Dodgers' biggest strengths from top to bottom is flexibility. It's the same with the offense. Justin Turner needs a day off at third base. Well, Max Muncy can move from first to third if you need to. Put Bellinger at first, or sit just sit Turner and play Chris Taylor over at third base. Move Gavin Lux, to the outfield. Whatever you need to do. I mean, it's the offense from 1 to 9 is not entirely interchangeable, but they've certainly got more flexibility than anybody else in Major League Baseball, and they can all rake. Justin Turner is probably going to hit 300 again at 37 years old. Cody Bellinger, Corey Seager, and Mookie Betts should all hit 30-plus home runs. Max Muncy should as well. You've got A.J. Pollock in the outfield. You've got Chris Taylor. You've got, I haven't even mentioned, Will Smith. Will Smith could possibly hit 30 bombs this year. Austin Barnes, who's known more as a defensive catcher, has become the personal caddy for both Kershaw and Walker Buehler the last couple of years. Not going to be surprised if he becomes the catcher for Trevor Bauer as well. If guys like Kershaw and Buehler like him that much that they're requesting that he catch them personally, a guy with as temperamental as Bauer is probably going to do the same. But then what do you do with Will Smith? You're going to DH him for sure. You want his bat in the lineup when you're playing in American League cities, but he can also play first base if you need to give Muncy a day off. But that's just how much depth that they have and the interchangeability of the pieces there. And for that reason, just like pretty much everybody else that follows Major League Baseball, the Dodgers are the overwhelming favorite, I think, to not only make it out of the National League this year, but to win the World Series for a second year in a row. My personal picks for the year: Los Angeles Dodgers out of the National League, Chicago White Sox out of the American League. I think it'll be a phenomenal World Series. We'll see. That's why they play the games. It's possible that the Dodgers could lose as many as 60 games this year. you just never know what's going to happen. They could completely fall apart and only win 102 games. I don't know. Today's the first day that we'll get to see what they look like. I believe they're in Colorado to start the season. The poor New York Mets have already had to postpone their opening day because of the dreaded coronavirus. I guess everybody didn't have their vaccination cards handy before they turned in the starting lineups today. But hopefully in a week or three, they'll get to play as well. Being facetious about that, of course, but not really. But that's my power rankings again. Like I said, there may be other lists, but those lists are wrong. These are the right ones. If you disagree with me, feel free to let me know that in the comments. Text me if you're lucky enough to have my personal number on my handy new iPhone 12. Like the post, share it, tell a friend. Ask your mama to watch it. She'll probably like it. And be sure to check out Sign Gypsies Red Hills on the Facebook. Graduation is coming up in May. And if you've got a graduate in your house or in your neighborhood, somebody you go to church with, whatever, they would love to have a sign from Sign Gypsies in their yard to let everybody know how smart they are. So go to the Facebook, click on Book Now, and Melly will hook you up. But until next time, this has been Peanuts and Cracker Jacks. Enjoy your Easter weekend. Enjoy opening day. Watch as much baseball this weekend as you can. And I'll talk to you guys later.